excited about this retreat. There's nearly 1,000 of us on this retreat, which is like amazing. It's the biggest retreat we've ever been on, biggest retreat we've ever had at the London Buddhist Centre. So really, really good to see you. So if you've just joined, my name's Ruth Katina, and yeah, very, very warm welcome. We're just welcoming everyone just now, and we'll have the formal start at 7 o'clock. So, but for now, just love it to see all your faces and read your names and welcome you. Really good to see you. See lots of new faces. That's very nice. So great. And what you can do if you want to is introduce yourself in the chat box and say where you're from. Lots of you will probably be from London, but some will be from much further afield. So it'd be lovely to see where some of you are from. Especially if you're from far and wide. That's the beauty of having a retreat online, that people can come from all over the world. So I hope there are people from all over the world here. Yeah, do keep introducing yourselves down in the chat box. Yeah, lots of people from London and Cambridge. Somebody just looking now, somebody from Dorset, warm welcome. See if there's anyone from further afield. So that's really marvelous. How many people are with us now, Hippolyte?
So we have 170 people.
Okay.
And we have someone from Serbia.
Oh, somebody from Serbia. That's amazing. Warm welcome. Yeah, so 107 with us so far. As I say, there's 1,000 of us on the retreat altogether, or nearly 1,000, which is quite amazing. Oh, somebody from Dublin, Clara, that's great. Lovely. Good. Oh, good. Someone from Holland. Holland on Sea. Great. Really, really good. Really, really good to see you all here on a Sunday night. So, yeah, for those of you who have just joined, I'm Ruth Katina, and I'm in the London Buddhist Centre large shrine room, where the whole retreat will be held, really. So you'll be seeing this shrine room again and again, entering this shrine room online. Oh, someone from Germany, that's great. And there's Akasha Mitra, lovely. Good. People are pouring in now. Oh, someone from France, great. Amazing how many people are pouring in. This shrine room, in the days when we were open, we used to sometimes manage to squeeze 100 people in here, and that was a bit of a squeeze, but already there's far more than that here with us tonight. So I'm here with the technical team, Hippolyte and Michael, and also the retreat team who are going to introduce themselves in a moment. But I'll just ask Hippolyte again, how many people are here now?
215 people.
215 people. Okay, so we'll just give it a moment more for everyone to arrive. And then in a moment, I'm going to hand over to Gaurav Avati, another one of the retreat team, who's going to introduce the whole retreat to you. So some of you by now will be very familiar with Zoom, and maybe some of you are even feeling you're too familiar. You'll have had lots of Zoom meetings. Some of you might be quite new to something on Zoom. So one really good tip is you can click on just the top right-hand side. You've probably got a little thing that says speaker view. Oh, look, there's Hippolyte sort of waving at it. So if you click on speaker view, when one of us is speaking, then you get a big picture of us, and then, yeah, it can just help you connect. So you might want to do that. And I think what I'm going to do now is hand over to Gaurav Avati, who's not in the shrine room. She's at home in her Buddhist community, and she's going to introduce, do the sort of proper introduction to the retreat. I'm the sort of warm-up act, and Gaurav Avati is going to do the proper introduction to the retreat. Then she's going to hand back to me again, and I'll let you know what's going to happen next. So So I'm going to hand over to Gaurav Avati just now. I think Ipalit's going to unmute Gaurav Avati.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Subhadramati. Thanks for such a lovely warm welcome. Yes, and really, really warm welcome from me. It's so nice to see so many of you, 255 at the moment, and I'm sure more people are just dropping in as I speak. So yeah, really, really warm welcome from me. My name's Gaurav Avati. So there's going to be, hello, there's going to be 4 of us leading this retreat, and you'll meet all of us this evening at different points. And as Subhadramati was saying, I'm going to be doing my part from home. So probably much like you, I'm tuning in from home. I live in a Buddhist community, so you can see my shrine in the background here. Yeah, and it's just very, very unusual to be doing a retreat in this format. This is the first time that the Buddhist Centre's had to close. We've been open in Bethnal Green for 40 years. We've never closed. So it's really, really unprecedented time for us to do this online. But we've been doing lots of online activities, and it's really amazing, actually, the connection and the sense of community that we've built over this time. So I'm really, really pleased to be able to share the next week with you all and to practice together. So some of you might be completely new to meditation and to Buddhism, and some of you I can see, because I recognize you, are familiar with meditation practice and you're familiar with the Buddhist teachings. So for all of us, it's a chance to, to learn and to go deeper in our practice, whether that's discovering what the Buddha has to say about life, or whether that's deepening our meditation practice. And for all of us, it's an opportunity to come together, to practice together, and to be alongside each other at this time, in this format, online through our computer screens. So tonight, what we'll do is, in a moment, I'll pass over to Subhadramati, and we'll break out into smaller groups. So it's an opportunity for us to get to know each other a bit better, to speak to each other. We'll talk about our hopes and our intentions for the next week on retreat together. And then Jnana Vacha, who's one of the other leaders of the retreat, he's going to say a bit more about the retreat, what's going to be happening over the week, but also how we can engage with the retreat, how we can get the most out of the retreat at this time and in this format. And then Maitra Bandhu is going to lead us in a ritual to ritually sort of, open the retreat and to dedicate ourselves fully to the week ahead. Yes, so I'm really, really looking forward to practicing with you all. I'm going to be leading the morning meditation. So as you probably know, we're going to have meditations each morning. I'm going to be leading the beginner's morning meditation. So I'm sure I'll see some of you in that. And there's lots and lots of activities happening. We've got meditation workshops, we've got Dharma talks each evening. There's an opportunity to study, and there's also yoga and qigong each day. So it's a really, really, really rich program for us to engage with. So I'm looking forward to engaging with you over the next week. So I'll pass back to Subhadramati, and she'll say a little bit more.
Good. Okay, so thank you, Gaurav Avati. So if you've just joined, my name's Subhadramati, and I'm one of the team. Just checking, can people hear me? Yeah, good. I just heard a thing that said you are muted, but I think that was Ipalit's computer that I'm somehow on. So I'm sitting here in the shrine room of the London Buddhist Centre. And yeah, this is where most of the retreat will be taking part. So as I was saying before, really, really warm welcome to the London Buddhist Centre shrine room, and really, really warm welcome if you're here for the first time. And also warm welcome if you're coming back after many times. So what we're going to do now, by the wonders of technology, is we're going to break into smaller groups for 15 minutes. And that will miraculously happen just at the touch of a button from Ipalit, who's one of the crew. And in that smaller group, it'll be a chance for you just to talk about how you're going to set yourself up for the retreat. So first of all, it'd be great to say, what's inspired you to come on this retreat, and also how are you going to participate? Like some of you might have taken a whole week off work if you're working to come on the retreat. Other people will be more fitting it around what you're already doing. So just say what your intentions are. Yeah, you're going to be coming to the morning meditation, for example, the evening talks. It can really, really help just to say out loud to a small group of people what your intentions are. And also say what you hope from the retreat. What's inspired you to come on this retreat? What's inspired you to sign up? And what would you love to get out of this retreat? Again, you can share that in your small group. So the groups, I don't know exactly how many people will be in each group, but I'm small enough to have a conversation. We've got quite a big team. So some of the groups will have a team member in the group, and you'll know they're a team member because it'll say team member beside their name. And if so, they'll facilitate the group. But we don't, some of the groups won't have a team member just because so many people are on the retreat, more than we even imagined. So you can just self-facilitate, just take a turn each, just to say those things, how you're going to engage with the retreat and what your hopes are, what's inspired you to come on the retreat. And then after 15 minutes, we'll all come back together. And yeah, then we'll move on to the next part of the evening, which will be how to be on retreat together. Yeah, good. So enjoy your group. Off you fly to your group now. So welcome if you've just joined since we started the breakout groups. So great to have you on retreat. So we've been having breakout groups, and everybody's just now flying back from those groups. Is that right? In a minute, they're all going to come flying back from those groups to join us. And then we're going to just hear a bit about people's inspiration for the retreat, their hopes for the retreat. We won't be able to hear from everyone because there's 350 of us, but we'll have a few little summaries. So, but meanwhile, very nice to see you all, and great you could come and join us, swelling our numbers even more. And especially warm welcome if it's your first time to the London Buddhist Centre or the London Buddhist Centre online. What's behind me is our shrine and our large shrine room here. One more minute. Oh, they're all back. Everyone's back. Wow, 350 people have just come back. So great. So welcome back from your breakout groups. So yes, I hope you had a good chance to, in a smaller group, just share, just say hello to each other, say your name. Is huge retreat. Altogether, there's nearly 1,000 of us on the retreat. So every day as part of the retreat, there'll be a chance to break into smaller groups, which is really important on a retreat of any size, but especially a retreat this size. So hopefully in your groups, you got a chance to say hello, say your name, but most importantly, hopefully you got a chance to say, well, how are you going to participate in the retreat? We're recommending that you come to as much as you can. But, you know, some of you will have all sorts of things going on in your life. So this breakout groups are really to set your intentions for the retreat and also to talk about your inspiration for the retreat. What inspired you to sign up for this retreat, and what do you hope to get from the retreat? So we won't have time to hear from every single person, I'm afraid, because there's 350 of us here tonight. We won't even have time to hear back from every single group. At one point, I thought we could hear back from every group, but there's 50 groups, and even that would take too long. So I've asked 6 group facilitators to just have a couple of minutes each just to say, well, what were the themes from their group? Were there any themes by way of intentions, and were there any themes for hopes for the retreat? So what would be great is when I call these people in, you might want to just put yourself on speaker view And then you'll be able to see the person that's speaking. And actually, could I be on speaker view as well? That's great. Thanks, Evelyn. So first of all, I'm going to ask Max Harrison to come and just tell us a little bit about your group, Max. So if Max pops in now.
Great, thanks, Vajramati. So we had a lot of people reflecting on how to sort of like embrace, sorry, I'm just going to pin you, how to embrace the sort of distinction between the fact that the retreat is happening and also they've got their lives to go to. Like there's a couple of people in our retreat that's still in our breakout group that are still working. So part of their hope was that they'd be able to hold those two things and still commit to the retreat and deepen and bring things to bear on their life as well. A few people talked about sort of like structure and discipline and what otherwise is a very like unboundaried time right now. And quite a lot of people said things along the lines of slowing down, a bit more time to reflect, and pretty much everyone in some way said deepen their practice and meditation and metta bhavana, you know, deepen those practices. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Max. So that's some great topics. So we've got, well, a retreat to deepen our meditation, or perhaps learn to meditate if we haven't learned to meditate yet. I think that was very, very interesting, that theme of, for some of us, this time's a bit unboundaried. You know I was talking to someone and she was saying, oh, I've turned day into night and night into day. For some of us, all the usual structure's gone. Of course, for others of us, there's more structure than ever. But a retreat can really help. A retreat program can really help to bring in structure. So I think that's really great that that was flagged up, and we'll be talking more about that. And then I think that's a very interesting question about, for those of us who are still working, maybe working harder than ever. Well, Max talked about it as how to sort of balance the two, being on retreat and having the rest of your lives. So I would say that what we'll be doing is we're finding ways to make your life into a retreat, so that you don't need to think of it as two things, but how to make your real life into a retreat. And that'll be one of the themes of our retreat this week. So yeah, really, that was really great points to bring up. Thank you, Max, and thank you, Max's group. I imagine and they'll have overlapped with some of the other groups as well. So next, I'm going to ask Danny to tell us about how your group, themes from your group, Danny.
Yeah, hello. So yeah, I think like one of the points was the same of having more structure in our day-to-day life, and yeah, some of us are still working, so like they try to like just bring that into their day more, and they just try to do as much as they can. But another point was also like yeah, to connect to the Sangha again and connect to the LBC again, which feels very important. And yeah, some of us even said like they feel even more connected to the LBC now than they did before, because they live far away. So it's easier now to connect to the Sangha or to the talks. Yeah, and then some of us were saying how much they enjoy you teachers like Machu Bandhu's use of Vajramati and Yanavacha, and yeah, just being able to follow your teachings now. So that came up as well.
That's great. Thank you very much, Danny. So again, that's drawn out even more themes. So some overlapping, which I'm not surprised about. And then, well, Danny mentioned this word Sangha, so that might be a new word to some of you. So it means community. It kind of means a community of growth. It means community of people who are trying to, who believe in growth and who are trying to grow. And of course, that's what a retreat can do. And more I'm convinced that even an online retreat can do that. From all the classes, online classes that we've been doing at the Buddhist Center so far, I'm more and more convinced that we can create community online. And wonderful thing, isn't it? Because in a way it takes all of us. Yes, there's those of us here leading the retreat, and great that that people are are responding to being led in a retreat. But also the community aspect is something we all do together. It's something we co-create together. And the Buddhist word for that is Sangha. So yeah, so that's great to bring that out as well, Danny and Danny's group. Thank you. So now I'm going to ask Todd Johnson.
Excellent. Thanks, Vajramati.
Hi, Todd.
Hey, we had a nice diverse group of people on a couple of levels. So there's a group of us from London, and we had a participant over calling in from Denmark, which was great. Just shows the power of us doing these types of retreats in a virtual setting, that we can connect with people all around the globe, which is really, really encouraging. Similar themes, I think, to what was said before in terms of the desire to deepen practice. A couple of the people who participated in the group had been involved with the urban retreats in the past and had really positive experiences with the urban retreat, which is a great example of doing a retreat in the context of your broader life, as opposed to going away on retreat. So they're very much looking forward to kind of experiencing something similar with this retreat. Other themes were people were looking forward to the teachings, understanding Buddhism to a greater degree. Yeah, and that people were grateful to everyone for organizing this in the first place. So thank you to everyone involved at LBC.
Didn't quite catch that. Grateful to have?
To everyone at LBC for organizing the retreat. So there's gratitude for everyone who was involved in organizing it. So yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really great. I'm listening to you and admiring the art on your walls as well. It's great to see into everyone's rooms. So yeah, really, very nice to hear about your group, Todd. I'm very, great to again draw on that element of diversity and people from, all over Britain and Europe and beyond on this retreat together. And that's just such a wonderful aspect of the retreat. And I must say, in response to the gratitude for organizing it, it's actually been very, very exciting for us to think about it, to bring ourselves together. So already there's a great sense of excitement here in the London Buddhist Centre Shrine Room, although, there's just 6 of us here in physical presence, but it feels like a very, very exciting thing to be part of. So thank you very much, Todd and Todd's group. So next we've got Ruth Katina.
Oh, hello. So one person in my group had actually emailed the LBC to see if there was anything like this happening. So a very lot of gratitude from her, and she's taken the week off work. Someone else is furloughed from work, so really a sense of wanting to make the most of the opportunity of this time. And then someone else who's actually living in Suffolk, fairly near to the Drasana. So really, again, just like such a lovely opportunity to connect into the London Buddhist Centre, whereas normally she wouldn't be able to do that. But a real sense from everyone of the value of meditating with others, and how supportive that is. And everyone's looking forward to the teaching as well.
That's great. Thank you very much, Ruth and Ruth's group. And I think that's a really good point. If you're not working at the moment, or if you've been furloughed from work, how to really make something of this time and actually use this time as a time of growth. So that's really great to hear that people really want to make the most of this opportunity. And really lovely to hear that. I've forgotten the other thing I was going to say in response to Ruth's group. Oh, it's gone out of my mind. It might come back. But very, very nice, very, very nice to hear from you, Ruth and Ruth's group. Good. And then finally, Benji.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Benji.
Great.
I see all the post-it notes on your wall as well.
That's how I organize my life.
Yeah, trying to organize your life. Yeah.
Yeah, so really lovely to have the breakout group actually. And kind of carrying on from some of the themes we've heard already, structure and regularity being something that was really key for people. Some people already having been joining in the mornings for the online meditations and just getting a lot of value from those and wanting to carry on. And how to, some people maybe already having a practice, finding just structure really important for carrying on deepening that existing meditation practice. And then interestingly, a mixture of people who either were coming along regularly to the LBC or one person just started, just visiting maybe a week or a couple of weeks before lockdown. So, really great to be able to continue that exploration online. Yeah, and then in terms of how much people are able to be involved, some kind of with work during the week, having to kind of work around their existing schedule. But I think most people said they really want to come to the mornings and the evenings and then do what they can in between. And then others with more time. Myself, I've got annual leave at the moment, and a couple of other people were able to just come to, or intending to come to everything, or as much as they could do.
That's great. That's great. Thank you, Benji and Benji's group. So it's particularly lovely to hear about people that just newly started coming to the Buddhist Centre just before lockdown and who've been able to continue coming along. That's really, really pleasing to hear. I'm delighted about that. I'm delighted to hear that some people are intending to come to everything on the retreat. We have got a lovely program lined up. And then, other people we know won't be able to do that. So, that's why we particularly made sure we had things in the evening and also, well, the usual morning, but we've got even earlier in the morning now as well. So that's really great. And of course, we will be teaching more about Buddhism. I remembered what I wanted to respond to out of Ruth's group of people saying they wanted to learn more about Buddhism. Of course, that's what we'll be doing during the week, particularly in the evening talks, where and they'll be cumulative. So each evening we'll be building on the teachings of the Buddha and how they're relevant to us in our lives. So not the teachings in terms of, I don't know, a history lesson or something like that, but actually what those teachings have to say to us right here, right now, right in this lockdown, actually. They're more relevant than ever. That's what I've been discovering as I've been reflecting more and more on the teachings of the Buddha. The truth of them is revealed even more deeply in this crisis situation. So good, so really, really great to hear from 5 or 6 groups. And I'm imagining that those themes of some people wanting more structure, some people wanting to deepen practice of meditation, learn more about the teachings of the Buddha, people wanting to feel part of a community together. They were themes that came out, and I'm imagining that those themes are probably common to many of us, maybe even the whole 350 of us here tonight, the whole 1,000 of us that are signed up for this retreat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a little break just for 5 minutes. So it's time to grab yourself a cup of tea and then come back. And then in 5 minutes time, we'll just be unfolding more about how to be on retreat. So those of us leading the retreat, we've been on like hundreds of retreats between us. And yeah, we built up a sort of collective wisdom, you could even say, about how to make the most out of a retreat. So Jnanavacha is going to be talking to you about that. And then Maitreya Bandha is going to lead us in a ritual to mark the beginning of the retreat, and we'll be finished by about 9 o'clock. But for now, yeah, we'll all just take a 5-minute break. We'll take a 5-minute break as well. So see you in 5 minutes.
So hello, everybody. Lovely to see your faces, or at least I can see some of your faces. My name is Jnanavacha, for those of you who don't know me, and I want to say a little bit about being on retreat. And being on retreat is always a particularly kind of special thing to do. And although I've done hundreds of retreats or dozens of retreats, I never quite know what to expect when I go on a retreat. But this retreat, of course, is, well, it's just like no other retreat that we've certainly ever had at the London Buddhist Centre. And so I want to say a little bit about the program for the retreat, but also some tips for being on a retreat like this one. It's really lovely to hear from some of the breakout groups about making a commitment to following the program of the retreat. And I think I just want to underline that a little bit more, to say that commitment is going to be key on a retreat like this, where we haven't got the normal retreat conditions of being together in a retreat center. And you have got your home life, and for some of you, your work life carrying on. It's going to be so important, if you're going to get the most out of this retreat, to find a way of just committing to whatever intentions you've already set. So I just wanted to sort of stress that. I think this is a wonderful opportunity this week. And personally, I feel very, very glad to be part of it, but also glad that so many of us can be practicing together this week. So the commitment for some of us is going to look different to others, of course. So if you're at work, during the day, then all I would say is that you, as well as joining in with the bits of the program that you can join in with, particularly I'd emphasize the mornings and the evenings, in a way you don't have to sort of forget that you're on retreat when you're at work. The commitment to practice can be with us, every waking moment. If we sort of remember, the hard thing I find is to remember, but if we remember that we're trying to practice kindness, we're trying to practice awareness, mindfulness, if we remember that we're trying to stay connected with ourselves, our experience of the body and our senses, but also connected with others around us, then in a way, whatever we're doing, we can have that sense that we're practicing. And I think on a retreat like this, some of you have said, compared it to an urban retreat. It is a bit like an urban retreat where we practice in our everyday life. It's even more important to think of that continuity of practice, I think. Now, of course, if you are able to join in the program, the whole program, if you're furloughed, or if you're not working, or if you've taken time off, I mean, that's just fantastic, because the program is really rich. It's going to have something every few hours. I mean, we're going to start, let me run through the program. So we're going to start at 7 a.m. with some meditation for 45 minutes, and then another meditation at 8 a.m. with a bit more teaching and input, a sort of workshop until 9. Now those two, the 7 and the 8 o'clock, are for people who already know the mindfulness of breathing, the Metapavana practices. If you're new to those two meditations, then there's a chance at 8:30 to be taught those practices. So there's a way of joining the retreat, whatever your level of experience. And then at 10, so you'll have time for breakfast, and then at 10, we're going to be offering some more sort of meditation input over the week, taking us deeper and deeper in our practice. It'll be a really good way of deepening your meditation if you can join those sessions, and particularly if you've meditated already in the morning. I find that if I've already meditated, then I can hear teachings more sort of fully. I'm more receptive to those teachings. So it's really good, that mid-morning 10 o'clock slot. There'll be also then a chance at 11 to be in smaller groups. So some of you, most of you, have just had a little experience of a breakout group. We're not going to be in the same groups every day, but we are going to have the opportunity every day of being in a small group to just explore how it's going for us, how our retreat is going, what things are arising, and that will help us also, of course, to connect with a few people. You know, there's 350 more of us on this retreat, and although we can keep an imaginative sense of people practicing all over the world together, it's really helpful just to see 5 or 6 or however many there'll be in that breakout group. So there'll be a chance to do that in the mornings as well. And then there's body work. So we're going to be offering yoga or qigong and qigong at noon before lunch. So it's really good if you can do that. I've been trying to do qigong as much as I can during this lockdown, and it's fantastic, not just for a sense of energy and well-being, but also yoga and qigong both seem to have one of the spin-offs is that they help us go deeper in meditation. So it's sort of a sort of coherent, integrated kind of program. That's the morning. Then you have time for lunch. Unfortunately, we won't be able to have lunch together. Although you can post, well, I'll say a little bit more about posting your lunch online, but we'll have lunch. And then in the afternoon, there's going to be an opportunity to have a sort of study seminar. Vidyadharka is going to be leading a seminar on the Karaniya Metta Sutta. So that will also you'll have the opportunity to study with Vidyadharka, which means hopefully we'll find a way of asking questions if, you know, I'm not quite sure how that will work. If there's 350 people studying, you won't all get to ask a question, but he'll respond as best he can to that. And then, of course, in the evening, we've got this program of talks and a little bit more meditation. These talks, as Subhadramati was just indicating, we're going to be exploring Buddhism as it is relevant to us now, and a real range of talks that the team are going to be giving. And then we'll conclude each evening with a ritual, a short ritual. So a very, very full program. And if you can join in with all of it, then I'd say, yeah, just commit and please do. Lovely to see your faces, actually. I'm just seeing a whole heap of faces pass across my screen. And then if you can't join with all of it, then I think particularly see if you can keep a thread of connection during your day with the teachings that you've heard the evening before, but also particularly, I'd suggest, with awareness and kindness, with mindfulness and with metta. If that was part of the commitment that you make, I'm going to just dedicate this week to mindfulness and metta, to awareness and kindness, then you will have a sense of continuity, even if you're in Zoom meetings, or even if you're having to travel to work or whatever you're doing. I have one more thought actually about staying sort of connected. If we were at our retreat center, Vajrasana in Suffolk, it would be beautiful. I mean, beautiful at lots of levels. It would be lovely, but also the surroundings of Vajrasana and the retreat center itself are exquisitely beautiful. And most of us aren't going to be in such beautiful surroundings. I don't know where you are. I'm on the Roman road in Bethnal Green. It's fine. I mean, there is a park, etc. It's not exquisite. Well, I wouldn't use that word. But what I would suggest is that, as well as awareness and kindness, you keep an eye out for connecting with beauty in whatever situation you're in. Beauty has such a heart-opening effect. It will really connect us with our practice. It'll connect us with the Dharma. It'll connect us with being alive, a sense of being human. Beauty is so important, and it's so easy to somehow overlook. The incredible thing with beauty is that if we are looking with the eyes of beauty, we can find beauty, particularly if you've been meditating. You can somehow see beauty, one can see beauty in the everyday, in the ordinary. I can once remember coming up, I was relatively new to meditation, and I was living in a community, and I came up from meditating in this room that I'm in now, in our shrine room, came up to my community, and there was a spice rack in the kitchen. And it took my breath away. It was so beautiful. It was just a spice rack, which frankly I had either seen every day or not noticed, or who pays attention to the spice rack as an aesthetic object anyway. And for me, it was like the most exquisite experience. I can remember having to sit down to take it in. Obviously, if you're busy with your work, don't do that. But do look for beauty in the everyday. It is there if you look with the eyes of beauty. And what, as I say, it does is it connects us with the heart opens, and then metta, love, kindness, well-wishing, flow, a sense of gratitude, a sense of being fortunate to be alive, just a sense of, even a sense of wonder can arise, certainly for me. I mean, I've never done hallucinogenic drugs, but that spice rack experience was a little bit like that. It was so wonderful. It was a bit freaky. I had to keep reminding myself this is just spice. So the world can become wonderful if we allow it to. And honestly, this is such a good opportunity to encourage that. If you just remember, I'm going to keep reminding you, and all the others on the team will keep reminding you. But particularly, I want to say it now because I know some of you are going to be tomorrow at work. So see if we can remember to do that, as well as sort of commitment to our practice and kindness, awareness, and beauty. I mean, we can also, if we're able, just see if we can reduce input on a retreat. If we were on a residential retreat and sort of normal retreat, where all our distractions would have been taken away from us. There would be no social media. Actually, there'd be no computers, but of course you'll need your computers to hear myself and Subhadra Mati and Maitreya Bandhu and Gaurav Avati. You'll need to be tuning in, which is sort of fine. But I know what it's like when I am even working online. It's so easy to switch to surfing the internet. And the most random things can cross one's mind. I was listening to some list earlier on, and I suddenly thought, I wonder how influenced he was by Wagner, or was he influencing Wagner, or the other way around? And suddenly I found myself Googling about their relationship and their influence. I mean, I'm not that interested, but it was so easy to do because I was at a computer. So see if we can not do that this week. See if we can help it not surf the internet for useless things, not go shopping for things that we don't need, and for frivolous things, not take in the news unnecessarily. I know that we might feel that we've got to, certainly if the Prime Minister's making an announcement that's about the next stage of lifting the lockdown, we might need to be aware of that. But it's easy at this time to get obsessive about the news. How many articles are we going to read about when will there be a vaccine? And frankly, nobody knows. And reading more articles about it isn't going to do our minds any good. So see if we can reduce input where we can. You know, not sort of fill our minds with trivia. I think one of the beauties of retreat, one of the rewards of a retreat that works, is that what I find is it connects me with a deeper sense of meaning, a deeper sense of what's really important to me in my life. And I'm not alone in that. I'm sure that if you've been on retreat, you'll understand, you'll have an experience of what I'm saying. You connect with what's most important. And what's most important is seldom going to be found on the internet, you know, through surfing. It's going to be much more to do with this sense of awareness, this sense of connection, this sense of kindness. That's what's going to matter most. So, yeah, see if we can simplify our lives as much as possible. And for different numbers, for different people, that's going to be different things for us. Yeah, but reducing inputs, important. And then, of course, if we were on retreat in physically together, we'd have a sense of community. We'd have a sense, as Subhadramati was saying, of sangha, of connection with each other. And I think that's really important, so that in a way the Dharma isn't just, well, it can never be just a solitary affair. Even if we're on a solitary retreat, it's not a solitary affair. What I mean by that is that our minds, if we're really practicing on our minds, with our minds, it's always going to be about connecting with other people, with the world around us, with the environment around us. So we won't be able to meet in the usual way, but see if we can stay connected at a mind level. See if we can stay with a sense, an imaginative sense of sangha. I already feel that just from seeing you now and knowing that, you know, there's nearly 300 of us here now. I already feel that. But to help that, we're going to try another experiment, which is that we're going to be using this platform called Slack, which allows us to chat to each other, to meet each other virtually online. And a bit like if you were on retreat and you were, I don't know, sitting in the lounge together or chatting to somebody over a cup of tea or your meal. Slack it's a bit of an experiment. We don't really know what we're doing, to be honest. But it's a bit of an experiment to see if that fosters a deeper sense of connection between us. So I'd invite you to try that out and see if it works for you. We can chat to each other if you want to. Now, if we are going to be in the Slack lounge, the virtual retreat lounge or the virtual retreat dining room or whatever it is, Sanjay was suggesting in the dining room you could post pictures of your lunch or recipes about your lunch. If we are going to do that, and particularly if we're chatting to each other, what I'd asked is that we chat to each other about our retreat experience, yeah, or about the reflections that we've been having from the teachings we've been having, or how our meditation's doing. Don't bring in what the news is saying about the virus or whatever. It's just like, you know, on an ordinary retreat, we wouldn't bring in other things. So see if we can respect the boundaries of that and stick to talking about our practice in the Slack room. Otherwise, it becomes a distraction and something that works against our practice. I hope that makes sense. So I won't give you a list of topics to talk about, but stick to something relevant to the retreat. For example, if you see something with the eyes of beauty that has really struck you, well, you know, talk about that. Maybe post a picture of it, of the spice rack or whatever it is. So yes, that's also going to be happening. Finally, to say, if you're new to, I don't know, you might be new to meditation, you might be new to yoga and qigong, you might be new to Buddhism, you might be new to Buddhist ritual. Well, first of all, I just want to say you're really welcome. You're really, really welcome if you're new. One of the beauties of this way of doing a retreat is that we are reaching people who are new to the Dharma. And I just invite you particularly to try things out. You know, just throw yourself in as fully as you can, and then judge it at the end of the week. This time next week, or a little bit before Sunday evening, we'll be finishing the retreat, and that's the place to then, the time, I mean, to really see, did this work? So particularly if you're new, then throw yourself in. If you're old, as it were, and familiar and seasoned as a retreatant, then what I'd say, try and imagine it afresh. You know, try and imagine that you are new to retreats, sort of engage with a sort of inquisitive, curiosity, a sort of freshness. Try and find that. It might be relatively easy to do because this whole situation is so peculiar, but it might be a bit harder to do because you're in your home, you know, and it might be that you have to find that engagement for yourself and work harder at it. Yeah. So engage with come to as much of the program as you can. If you're not able to come to parts of the program, see if you can keep a thread of practice, a thread of continuity in terms of awareness and kindness and looking for beauty. And then see if you can also have a sense of community. Join in the Slack room, but otherwise reduce input. You know, try and simplify your life as much as possible. I think if you do all of that, I think you will, well, I know you will go deeper. We'll all go deeper collectively. And that's what some of you have been saying you want to do, is to go deeper. Let's make the most of this opportunity. Who knows how long our lives are going to be like this? But I do think that as well as all the tragic things that this pandemic has brought, it also brings us an opportunity to go deeper into the Dharma. The Dharma, remember, is always relevant, whether times are good, times are hard, times are difficult. The Dharma always offers us an opportunity to go deeper. So see if we can really make the most of that opportunity for this week. And well, I really look forward to seeing you all and practicing with you throughout this week, and really wish you well for the retreat. If I don't say it again, have a great retreat. Have a great retreat. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there and hand over back to Subhadramati, who's going to say something about dedicating ourselves to the retreat. Okay, so see you soon.
Thank you very much, Jnana Vacha. So hello again, everyone. It's me again. So I'm just going to speak for a few minutes before handing on to Maitreya Bandhu. So really, yeah, wonderful introduction from Jnana Vacha, and just reminding us of these, well, these qualities of simplification and kindness and love and mindfulness, and generosity and beauty and wonder, that they're always available to us, but also reminding us that the art is to remember to remember. So what I want to say is just a little bit about the centre here. So the whole reason of the London Buddhist Centre is to help us to remember those things. Right since it began 40 years ago, what we've been trying to do is create a culture yeah, where we remember to remember, where it makes it easier to tune into all those things, rather than having to sort of fight against a prevalent culture of materialism and getting on with life and so on. So that's what we're doing. Now, sadly, we've had to close our physical doors of both the London Buddhist Centre and also our retreat centre, Vidrasana, that Jnana Avati evoked. And I do hope that everyone gets a chance to go there one day if you haven't been. I'm just imagining it in my mind, the summer flowers all coming out and everything. So yes, sadly, we've had to close the doors, but great, we can do the retreat online. But one big effect that it's had for us here at the Buddhist Centre of closing the doors is that, well, we're just not able to, collect donations in the same way. We're not able to have all the fees that we would have had for retreats and courses and so on. So that has had a massive impact on us. In the very first week, before the lockdown even started, actually, in the very first week, when we closed the centre on the 16th of March. It's a sort of date that's embedded in my memory because we've literally never closed the Buddhist Centre before, not even on Christmas or anything. But in that very first week, Pranyamanas, our treasurer, said he'd already given back our refunds of bookings to the tune of a 5-figure number, and that was just in the first week. So it has had a massive financial effect for us. So usually, if this was a residential retreat, we'd have about 60 people there. That's the capacity of Vidrasana. And for a week-long retreat, it would probably bring us about £20,000, which of course we would then just use to keep offering more and more things. So in a way that every retreat we've had to cancel, and we've had to cancel a number already, have in a sense lost us that amount of money. So I would really love it if we could make that amount of money on this retreat. And in one hand, that seems quite ambitious, but on another hand, I think, well, it's not so far-fetched with we've got a lot more than 60 people on this retreat. So I'd really love it if we could make that £20,000 on this retreat. So I'd really like to ask everybody who's on this retreat if you'd consider giving £100 for this retreat. The retreat is completely free. There's no question about that. We operate in a culture of generosity, and all the leaders and all the team and everybody, we're just doing this as an expression of our love for Buddhism, our love for Buddhist practice. We've been very excited about it. And we are offering it completely freely. But that's what I'd like to ask you, if you'd consider giving £100 for this retreat. And that would really help us. And I think it might help you, if I can be so bold as to say that. I think, especially at the beginning of the retreat, if you were to give us a donation, I think that would be another way of dedicating yourself. I was actually remembering something about my own sort of journey into meditation and Buddhism. I remember back to my very first meditation course. I was about 22. And I remember I booked for this 6-week course. I paid up for it. And the third week, I thought, it was after a long day at work. I don't know, I probably had other things to do. And I thought, oh, I don't know if I'm going to bother going tonight. And then I thought, hang on, you paid for this, Subhadramati. Well, I wasn't Subhadramati then. And the fact I had paid for it was the fact that I thought, well, actually, I'm going to go. I'm going to go. And here I am, 33 years or whatever later, actually leading a retreat. So, there was something about that. I'd put by actually, well, in this case, paying for it, but I'm asking you not to pay, but if you'd consider giving, I think if you do that, you can really, well, it's like that saying, putting your money where your mouth is, isn't it? You're saying, oh yes, I'm committing to this. I really want to do it. So dare I say that it might help you as well to give us a donation but definitely it will help us. It will really help us to be able to keep creating this culture where growth is what's conducive to growth. We're trying to make growth easier. Growth is hard. We all want to grow, but also it's hard because there's so many things pulling us the other way. We're trying to create an environment that's conducive to growth, and we want to keep doing that. The Buddhist Centre still is here, although we've had to close our doors. The retreat centre still is there, even though we've had to close the doors. The team are still there, like, you know, mowing the grass, keeping it all in good shape and everything for us. So please give towards that. It will really help us. And if you can consider giving £100, that would be great. Some of you, of course, can give more, and some of you can give, whatever you can give us. That would be great. And we're just about to post a link for that you can just click on if you'd like to make a donation. So thank you very much. And now I'm going to hand over to Maitreya Bandhu, who's going to lead us in our dedication ritual. So I'll slip off and he'll slip on.
Yes, thanks very much, Subhadramati. That's really great. Thank you very much. So yeah, so those of you who don't know me, my name's Maitreya Bandhu. Yeah, I must say, for me, I find it really moving. I'm sitting at the back of the shrine room, and the shrine room actually is like covered with computers and wires, and you know, you've got all these things happening. We're sort of weirdly turned the shrine room into sort of this weird sort of television studio. And yet, doing this together, seeing Gaurav Avati do the introduction, having Gaurav Avati zoom in from this sort of beautiful shrine room she's in the women's community, having Subhadramati saying, please give to us, we really need it. It's so actually like the beginning of a retreat. It feels like, for me, the beginning of, you know, one of the many, many retreats I've co-led or been on the teams for. And I've been on teams for a retreat since before many of you were born, you know, like 35 years or 30 something years. So I'm really struck. I'm just sitting at the back of the room and sort of, you know, listening to my friends talk and seeing Gaurav Avati zoom in. And I'm just really struck how this is very, very like the beginning of a retreat. And it is the beginning of the retreat. I didn't really know whether that would happen. It really feels a bit magical. What I'd be saying at the beginning of the retreat, I'm going to say it tonight, and it starts to make me sound a bit parental, but you know, we're going to be finishing with a ritual, a Buddhist ritual, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. And what I'm going to suggest after that, what we're going to start doing at the end of every evening is, instead of you know, closing the stream and then suddenly your YouTube box or Zoom box fills with other stuff you might want to watch, you know, whatever your favorites are. We're going to just mute the computer here and just let you just stay here looking at the shrine and leaving when you feel ready, perhaps saying goodbye, you know, saying goodbye to people, saying, you know, so that you can sort of finish nicely, just as you would on a retreat, rather than just go straight to your YouTube channel or whatever it is. We're going to do that. And what I would suggest is, if you can, get an early night. That's where the parental bit comes in. And I'm old enough to be some of your parents by the look of it. So, you know, we're going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning with Subhadramati, and then I'm going to be leading meditation for those of you familiar with meditation at 8. So let's sort of see if we can get an early night after this, and see if we can sleep well. It's so important to sleep well, and then we'll start again in the morning. So we're going to do a short dedication ceremony. I'll say a little bit about it. It's very, very simple. Some of you, many of you I know have done it before. Some faces I can see here on the screen. I can't see many of you, but I can see some of you. So many of you have done it before, but many of you won't have done it before. So I'll say a little tiny bit about ritual. I don't want to go on too long because I want to make sure we can then close down, have a wee Horlicks or hot milk or whatever one does nowadays. Does anyone do that anymore? Get an early night. just got a vision of Wayne's moustache there. It's got bigger and bigger, Wayne. Anyway, it's always so tempting, isn't it? I don't know if you've done, like me, you've probably done lots of Zoom things. It's always so tempting to comment on people's outfits, and you get lots of bits of shelf, don't you, and bits of radiator and the odd struggling pot plant. Anyway, very tempting though it is. So we're going to do, I'll try and desist. The ritual, that's right. I was going to try and bring a bit of sobriety to this, and I'm not managing it so far. So let's try and do that. So we're going to do this short ritual just to dedicate ourselves to the retreat. I want to say a little bit about why we do ritual. We're going to be exploring ritual every evening, and I really recommend that you do the ritual, even if you think, what's the point of that? Even people who've done rituals many, many, many times before can sometimes think, even quite often think, what's the point of that? But it does something. I know it does. I've been doing Buddhist ritual for so many years now, for 34 or 35 years. So one of the things about ritual, of course, is in difficult times, human beings always turn to ritual. Actually, in difficult times are important times. When people get married, when people die, when a child is born, but also when someone's ill. Your instinct, isn't it? My instinct is to know, I'm a bit this particular typology, but to know that, gosh, you know, I feel I haven't got much myself, that there's so much I need to draw on. I need to contact depth within myself that I'm not aware of, or I need to contact heights in the universe I'm not aware of. My little self, just me, little Maitreya Bandhu, you know, in important moments, in difficult moments, just absolutely isn't enough. So what ritual is doing is trying to open up to something more than I know. And that more than I know might be in the depths of my heart, in the depths of my soul, so to speak. It might be in the unknown within, but it might be in the unknown without. Actually, Buddhism doesn't worry too much about that distinction. It would say an unknown without and an unknown within. They're not actually two different separate things. So it doesn't worry. You know, like when you have one of those really strong dreams, and some people say it's like an angel coming in. I had a dream the other day about being dead. It was the most beautiful dream I've had for years, where I died in the middle of this pandemic. I died, and I was walking with a friend and saying, golly, I've made such a fuss about it. It's actually lovely being dead. And in the dream, I knew I was dead. And I mean, I don't know whether I'll feel this at the time, but it was just lovely. It was so beautiful. It was so, you know, I was literally walking towards the setting sun in this dream. I don't normally have this kind of dream. I come from the West Midlands, and you know, it's not allowed, these sort of dreams in the West Midlands. And you could think, well, is that dream a prefiguration of what happens after death? Some people might think it is, or you think it's some sort of psychological working out. Whether you think inside or outside, from a Buddhist point of view, it doesn't matter. That distinction is something we create with our mind. It actually blocks us going deeper in life. So you don't need to worry where the unknown is, outside or inside. But golly, things are unknown, aren't they? Everything, so much is unknown. Today I went for a walk, and a little robin came and settled down just near me, and I have no idea what it's like to be a robin. You know, just a little robin, never mind the universe, for heaven's sake. So I've got no idea about most things. I mean, I'm sure some of you got some ideas about something, but we don't know very much, do we? So ritual is always reaching out to a more that we don't know. And we do that in important times, we do that in troubled times. The other thing I want to say is that we've been talking about dedicating ourselves to the retreat, but what we're trying to do in a ritual is not just think this is a good idea. You know it's a good idea. You don't need me to tell me that it's a good idea. You don't need Gaurav Avati to tell you. You don't need Subhadra Mati or Gaurav Avati to tell you it's a good idea to meditate, to go on retreat, to practice mindfulness, to be kind, to be wise. You know all that stuff. I mean, actually, you need to, and I need to keep you reminded of that stuff. In fact, the more reminders I get, the better. And that's, in a way, what we're going to be doing. But you actually sort of know it. But you see how being on a retreat, you need to find not just your knowing, your will. You need to sort of evoke as much as you can a real feeling for wanting to be. And wanting to be on retreat, that's quite a mysterious thing. I don't know whether you find this in meditation. Sometimes you sit down to meditate and you just find, gosh, I really want to meditate. Other times you sit down to meditate and you think, I think I should, I know it's good, I know it's valuable, I actually don't want to do it. Actually, one of the things we need to do then is investigate that, not just push it aside. But you have to think, oh gosh, okay, I don't want to meditate. How am I going to work with that? Yeah. So we're trying to get to a place of wanting to be on retreat. And ritual and magic and myth, they're trying to touch those places that your willpower, your reason, which we're so enamored of our reason. And, you know, sometimes for good reason, you know, we need our reason, but golly, it doesn't go deep enough. So we're trying to do this ritual to touch those parts of ourselves, to use that language, to really want to be on this retreat. Not just know it's a good idea and tell your friends it's a good idea. We could all do that. But actually want to be there, actually really want to engage, actually feel for it. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do just now. Okay, I think that'll do. We're going to be doing rituals every evening. So every evening, whoever's leading that evening will be starting at 7, finishing at 9, and there's this chance just to sit and gaze at the shrine. So we'll say more about ritual, but that'll do just now. So what we're going to do is a dedication ceremony, a very simple ceremony. We're going to do it in call and response. So I'll say the words, and you'll need to say them back. Normally we say, make sure you tune into each other so you're all saying them back together, but you won't be able to do that. So just say them back, yeah? Even if it feels weird, and it might well feel weird, you know, you've got an ear out for your flatmate or your mother or your daughter or whatever it is, yeah? It might feel weird, but just, even if it does feel weird, sort of mutter them under your breath if you're particularly nervous, yeah? And then at the end of the dedication ceremony, Jnana Varcha will lead us in a mantra, the Shakyamuni mantra, which we'll be having all the way through the retreat. We'll be having this, and this is just basically saying the name of the Buddha, yeah, evoking the Buddha just by saying his name. So we'll have that mantra. The mantra will die away. Some of us, those of us here in the shrine room, will make offerings during the mantra. If you've got a shrine at home, you might actually just want to, you know, dim your computer screen, or even, you know, I don't know what you do, anyway, dim the screen, and just do this ritual to your shrine at home. And that might be something to think about for the retreat itself, is set up a shrine, even on our Slack room, if it is a room. This is all pretty new to me. You can post pictures of your shrine. So you might want to, if you haven't already, create a shrine, post a picture of it on the Slack room, if that's, I think it's a Slack room, I think. And you might want to just do the ritual every night, just sort of turn the screen away from the glaze of the screen around you. You might have enough, you probably have enough time on screen. You might just want to do the ritual to your shrine, yeah? Just as we'll be doing it to ours, yeah? So we'll have that mantra, the mantra will die away. I'll just say, thanks very much, everybody. That's all for tonight. And we'll leave the film running, so you can just look at the shrine here. You can post any comments you want to make. And then when you're ready, you can just turn off your computer and get the famous early night. So let's settle ourselves down. And I'll just, so sit to be as comfortable as you can. It's not going to be long, only a few minutes. So we're just turning down the lights here. You might want to turn the lights down in your own room, or turn the light of your screen down, so that everything's starting to darken down, quieten down. Yeah? And I'll lead us in a very brief meditation to prepare for the ritual. Really love to see you all, by the way. All these faces flashing in front of me. I have to keep remembering not to look at you, because then I'm don't look like I'm looking at you. Anyway, really lovely to see the faces that I'm seeing. Well done for turning up. So when you're ready, closing your eyes. So as soon as you close your eyes, really bringing your attention into your body. into the weight of your body on the chair or the cushions. And you don't need to think about your body. You don't need to picture it. All you need to try to do is just feel the contact of your chair with your backside. Feel your feet on the floor. And then just softening your brow, softening your eyes. So you might feel the glare of the screen on your eyes. Just soften your eyes, soften your brow. And then releasing your shoulders. And sometimes all you need to do is imagine your shoulders letting go, dropping down your back. Softening your belly. We're often pulling in the belly, and we don't even notice that we're doing that. But even though we don't notice, it has an effect on our mind. It kind of creates a kind of static in our mind. So see if you can soften your belly. And just having this sense of your whole system calming down. We've had this beautiful sunny day here in London, and you have this sense of everything quietening down in the evening. So you're trying to imagine that your whole body, your mind, senses, quietening down, calming down. The dedication ceremony. We dedicate this place to the three jewels.
We dedicate this place to the three jewels.
To the Buddha.
To the Buddha.
The ideal of enlightenment to which we aspire.
The ideal of enlightenment to which we aspire.
To the Dhamma.
To the Dhamma.
The path of the teaching which we follow.
The path of the teaching which we follow.
To the Sangha.
To the Sangha.
The spiritual fellowship with one another which we enjoy.
The spiritual fellowship with one another which
Here may no idle word be spoken. Here may no unquiet thought disturb our minds. To the observance of the 5 precepts, we dedicate this place. To the practice of meditation, we dedicate this place. To the development of wisdom, we dedicate this place. To the attainment of enlightenment, we dedicate this place. Though in the world outside there is strife, here may there be peace. Though in the world outside there is hate, here may there be love. Though in the world outside there is grief, here may there be joy. Not by the chanting of the sacred mantras, not by the sprinkling of holy water, but by our own efforts towards enlightenment. We dedicate this place. Around this mandala, this sacred spot, may the lotus petals of purity open. Around this mandala, this sacred spot, may the Vajra wall of determination extend. Around this mandala, this sacred spot, may the flames that transmute samsara into nirvana arise. Here seated, here practicing, may our mind become Buddha. May our thought become Dharma. May our communication with one another be Sangha. For the happiness of all beings. For the benefit of all beings. With body, speech, and mind. We dedicate this place. Okay then. So thank you everyone for tuning in. I hope you found this evening, wherever you are in your room, wherever you are, all over the world, I hope you found this evening as moving as I have. So tomorrow morning we'll be starting with Subhadramati at 7, and then I'll be teaching at 8. So if you're familiar with meditation, do join us. If you haven't signed in, if you're looking at this on YouTube, do join the look at the link, and you can join in with those Zoom if you register. And then if you're new to meditation, if you're learning meditation, you're going to be learning meditation with Gaurav Avati at 8:30. So you get a bit of a lie-in. Okay, so that's all we've got time for this evening. So with my blessings, I hope you have a great retreat. I hope we all have a great retreat. And we'll leave the video playing until you're ready to leave in your own time. See you very soon.